All right, today we're going to tackle a huge question. It seems simple, right? But it's actually packed with literally thousands of years of assumptions. And it gets to the very core of how we see ourselves, our place in the world.
So let's just ask it straight up. Are we the smartest beings on the planet? I mean, it's a natural thing to think, isn't it? You look at our technology, our cities, our art, everything just seems to scream, yes, obviously. But what if I told you that our entire way of even asking that question is just wrong?
See, here's the twist. The problem isn't about finding the right answer to who's smartest. The problem is the question itself. It assumes that intelligence is some kind of single linear scale, like a ladder, and well, we just happen to be standing right at the very top. And let me tell you, that assumption has a long, long history. Yeah, this whole idea of an intelligence ladder is nothing new. It goes all the way back to the ancient Greeks, who were convinced that reason was a uniquely human thing. Aristotle made it official with his scala naturae, literally placing humans at the top of the natural world. And even in the 20th century, we just gave it a new coat of paint with IQ tests, which, let's be honest, basically defines smart using the various skills our brains are good at. Okay, so let's try a total reframe here. Instead of seeing our intelligence as the gold standard, what if we look at it for what it really is? A specific, an incredibly powerful adaptation for our own unique way of life. Let's dive into the human cognitive niche. So what is this cognitive niche? Well, the idea is that our evolutionary strategy wasn't to develop the sharpest claws or the thickest hide. Our strategy was to outthink our problems. We use reasoning and tech to get around challenges, and this is the really critical part, we do it together through super intense social cooperation. And boy, do we have the hardware for it. The average human brain is rocking about 86 billion neurons. That's just a mind-boggling number. But what's really fascinating isn't just the raw count, it's how efficiently that network operates. The thinking now is that our general intelligence doesn't come from one special part, but from the speed and flexibility of the connections across the entire brain. And on that hardware, we're running some seriously impressive software. Our toolkit has things like causal reasoning. That's our built-in Y machine. We've got mental time travel, which lets us learn from the past and plan for crazy complex futures. We have symbolic language to play with abstract ideas, and a killer theory of mind that lets us work together on a scale no other species can touch. And this, right here, this is the secret sauce. Our individual brain power is amazing, for sure. But it gets supercharged by what you could call a social operating system. We have this unique pro-social drive to share information, to teach each other, and to collaborate. That's what lets us build knowledge over generations. At the end of the day, human intelligence is a team sport. Okay, we've talked about us. Now, prepare to get weird. To really smash that old ladder of intelligence to pieces, we need to look at something that completely challenges our most basic ideas about what you even need to be smart. Everyone, meet the slime mold. Get this, Physarum polycephalum is a single cell, no brain, not one single neuron. And yet, it can find the absolute shortest path through a maze. It can recreate the incredibly efficient layout of the Tokyo rail system. It makes complex trade-off decisions, and it can even learn to anticipate things that happen on a regular schedule. So, how on earth is this possible? Well, the answer is a concept called embodied cognition, and this is like the most extreme example of it. The basic idea is that thinking isn't just something that happens locked away in a brain. It's deeply connected to a body's interaction with the world. For the slime mold, that's not a theory. It's literally true. Its body is its computer. So here's how it works. When it's put in a maze, the mold just explores everywhere at once. Then, its internal goo, its cytoplasm, starts to flow faster through the shorter routes, which makes those pathways stronger. The longer, inefficient paths, they just kind of wither away. The final solution isn't an abstract calculation. It's the mold's own body physically settling into the most efficient possible shape. Its memory is completely different, too. Our memories are stored inside our heads, in our neural circuits. The The slime mold's memory is both embodied, you can actually see where it's been because its tubes are thicker there, and externalized. It leaves a chemical trail behind so it knows not to waste energy exploring the same spot twice. It literally offloads its memory onto the world itself. So we've seen a centralized, brainy intelligence and a single-bodied computer. For our third architecture, we have to zoom way, way out to an intelligence that operates on a planetary scale. I'm talking about the vast social network of microbes. A single microbe isn't much to write home about, but together they basically form a global superorganism. They talk to each other using a rich chemical language. Think of them as little chemical tweets that float through the soil and air, carrying information all across this planet-wide network. And the key that turns all that chemical chatter into coordinated action is something called quorum sensing. It's basically a way for them to take a census. It lets bacteria know how many of their buddies are around, so they can decide whether to just act as individuals or to unleash their power as a synchronized group. And the logic is just so simple and elegant. Every bacterium releases a little signal molecule. When there are only a few of them, the signal just dissipates. But as the population gets denser, the signal concentration builds up and up until it hits a trigger point. And then, bam, the entire population flips a switch and acts as one, launching an attack, building a protective fortress, all without a single leader giving a single order. Okay, let's pull back. We have these three radically different ways of being smart. And what this does is it forces us really to throw out that old misleading ladder. We need to replace it with something much richer, much more accurate, like a landscape of intelligence with all sorts of different peaks and valleys. And this map here, it lays it out perfectly. Human intelligence, it's centralized in a neural network. The slime molds is decentralized, embodied in its physical form. And microbial intelligence is completely distributed, running on a network of chemicals. They aren't just a little different, they are different in kind. Which brings us all the way back to the beginning. After exploring all of this, who really is the smartest? Well, now we can finally give that question the kind of nuanced answer it actually deserves. The answer is, there isn't one answer. It's plural. We humans? Yeah, we are absolutely the champs of abstract, symbolic, and cultural problem solving, no question. But a slime mold is demonstrably smarter at solving certain types of physical network problems because its whole body is basically a computer built for that one job. And a microbial community is smarter at keeping an entire ecosystem stable for the long haul. Smartness, it turns out, depends entirely on the problem you're trying to solve. At the end of the day, looking at these different architectures is about more than just fun facts about slime molds. What it does is it replaces that outdated, simple ladder with a much richer, more humble, and frankly, a more awe-inspiring appreciation for all the different ways that life has figured out how to think. And it leaves us with a final question, doesn't it? What other architectures of intelligence are out there that we're still too biased to even see?